Two new coaches, but still a great rivalry. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Slasher U. I'm your host, Christian Rao, here with my co host, Steve Feck, and we're going to break down one of the biggest and longest rivalries in college football. Notre Dame taking on USC. This is always a fun game to cover every year, Steve. This is one of the fun weeks for rivalries. I mean, let's just get it straight. But Notre Dame won their last five. It was a terrible beginning of the season for this squad with the Fighting Irish. A lot of people were calling for the resignation or the firing of Marcus Freeman into the beginning of the season. I think that has calmed down quite a bit after some of their big wins lately. On the other hand, USC is only a blemish, a 2-point conversion blemish, if you will, from a perfect season so far. They sit number 6 in the rankings. Notre Dame sitting 15. I'm actually quite surprised USC dropped to 6, to be completely honest. But your thoughts on this game? This should be a really fun one. USC coming in as a 5.5-point favorite, and I think that's a pretty good spread. I think these games can be pretty evenly matched.
Yeah. Well, first, I have to say that I'm doing this clip under protest, not because of USC Notre Dame not being a rivalry game. This should be USC versus UCLA. You know, this should be OJ Simpson or Mike Garrett or, whatever it is, against whatever UCLA quarterback, John Ewert or whoever it might be, going back to my childhood. If you've got Washington State and Oregon State and Stanford, Cal, all on the weekend after Thanksgiving, I'm assuming they didn't screw up Stanford, Cal, right? That's still the game this week. I didn't look at the whole schedule. Right. Okay. Then it has to be USC, UCLA. You do not kowtow to Notre Dame's schedule to put that game on instead of USC, UCLA. I understand UCLA has been out in the hinterlands the last couple of years, so it's more exciting. It's better for ratings to have Notre Dame, USC, but I'm doing this under protest. But having said that, I do say I do say that USC, I can imagine the editing job we're going to do on this one.
We're not.
Okay. USC needs to, they're not going to blow out Notre Dame, but they need to beat Notre Dame handily in order to legitimize any claim they have as to being able to get into the college football playoff. Okay. Even if by some weird occurrence, TCU has run out of ways to win games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I think last week was the last card in the deck where you run your special teams team in and then kick a field goal with like 3 seconds left. Fair. I mean, that might've been the last, rabbit in the hat there for Sonny Dykes and TCU, but USC has to have not a signature win. It has to have a dominant win. Again, and not on the scoreboard dominant, but they need to control every aspect of this game to legitimately still remain in the conversation for the college football playoff.
Yeah, I lean towards you with that one as well too, and especially since we just saw the committee put LSU over USC, which is a little bizarre, to be honest, because as I mentioned it in the intro here, USC is a 2-point conversion away from being a perfect record on this team. Right. Now, we know there's some blemishes with this defense. We are well aware that is the case. This offense is fantastic, though.
Yes.
And there's not many that can rival it. Let's be honest with that one. Notre Dame, on the other hand, this is a great way for them to solidify their season. An 8-4 season in the first year, Marcus Freeman, compared to a 9-3 season under Marcus Freeman. I think that calms a lot of people down. If it's on the ladder, right? So I'm interested to see how this one's going to end for the Fighting Irish. They're obviously going to get some sort of decent bowl game, whether they're 8-4 or 9-3. They're probably going to get the top echelon of the 8-win bowl games or the 9-win bowl games, just based on their name, because it's Notre Dame, right? Regardless, I'm going to lean towards USC in this game. I think they can win this game quite well. I think they can win it big, like you said. So I'm going to take the 5.5 points if I'm going to play this bet. The reason that I'm taking USC is because they know what they have left in the tank. They know that they are in a good spot to still find themselves into the college football playoffs. They are going to head to the Pac-12 championship to probably take on, Oregon. Oregon is probably the team they're going to have to face. Oregon's taking, unless Oregon State has a nice upset this coming week, right? So
Right.
we're going to see USC and Oregon. That's the potential. If USC can beat Oregon and beat Notre Dame, and we see some kind of faltering, I can see them sliding into that 4 spot. If not, they're going to have the best NY6 bowl. So regardless, a lot for USC on the line in this one. And I do think there's a little bit of Notre Dame on the line as well. I don't think Marcus Freeman is completely out of the doghouse yet. I think his job is safe if you're going to see that for anything. But
Yeah.
I don't think he's completely out of the doghouse. Notre Dame has a standard that they have to follow. And right now, I think that they still have a little bit of work to do. This 5-game winning streak definitely helps. A 6-game winning streak, and then a nice bowl win can obviously help that out a lot more. They still have a chance to have a 10-win season with a bowl win if they get this win against USC. However, I don't think that happens. I think USC gets the win here, moves to 11-1 on the year, and sets themselves up nicely in the Pac-12 championship. Steve,
Yeah. How good do you think Caleb Williams really is?
I think he's great.
Oh no, I agree. I mean, is it a stretch to say he is the best quarterback in the country? I mean, I know not necessarily numbers wise per se, or everybody's saying Stroud but is he the best quarterback in Division I right now?
I think there's a solid argument. I think you could make that solid argument. I mean, he's 6th in passing yards. He's tied for 4th in touchdowns. He's tied for 9th in interceptions. He's 5th in quarterback rating. All of those top 10 stats, in those big time stats you think of. I think we're going to hear his name when we get to the end of Heisman finalists. I think that's going to happen. I could really, unless something bizarre happens in this one or in the Pac-12 championship. I will say this. We haven't seen it, and obviously we've only seen 3 interceptions from him. But Notre Dame has been doing some crazy defensive things lately. We've seen some pick sixes. We've seen some special team messes up. So Caleb Williams has to play a very good game. The season's not over yet. I would say that if he plays a fantastic game against this Notre Dame defense, who has shown to be pretty good, especially in the last few weeks. I mean, they were lights out against Clemson. They were lights out against Syracuse, and then can show that and become a Pac-12 champion, if you will, no matter who they face. Yeah. And he's only a sophomore. That's the wild thing about Caleb Williams on this one. I think that I'm going to say no, that he's not the best, but I can see that solid argument. I'm still going to lean, as much as I know you're probably not going to agree with me, I'm still going to lean towards Bryce Young being number 1.
That's, again,
apples to oranges.
We're picking on almost perfection. It's like looking at a Picasso and say, well, I wish the brushstroke would have been better, here, on Guernica or whatever. Just stop. I mean, it's great. Caleb Williams is the kind of player that I wish that there was an MVP in the FBS, because I would say he's the most valuable player in
Now that's
FBS.
fair. And I will give you that. I will give you that one.
Because, I mean, literally, he has carried this team with all the talent around him. He has willed this team to the point that they are at the season. And it was a shame, right, that on a 2-point conversion that has come down to this. I mean, I don't think anybody, they knew USC would be good. I don't think anybody expected USC to be this good. So, but I would say, right, if there was an MVP, I would say that he is the MVP of the.
I'll give you that 100%. I think that's a really good assessment on this one. Look, he's thrown an interception in the last 2 games. That needs to go away. That can't happen against the Irish in this one. If he finds a way to throw for 350 plus and 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, my mind will completely change, because we've seen how well Notre Dame's played. They're on a different thing. When we're talking about this game, we're recapping it on Monday morning, and that happens, I will not be afraid to go live on this and say I completely changed my mind. Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in the nation. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think is going to win this game? Notre Dame, USC? Do you think USC has still a shot to make the college football playoffs? If so, tell us the route. What is the route that has to happen in the comments? Do you think that USC needs to make it to the college football playoffs? Always love that discussion. That's a fun debate, Steve. Always love to have that happen. So let us know in the comments below. Hit a like and subscribe while you're there. And thank you for always for watching